Hi everyone, it's Øyvind Martinsen here and welcome to this Adobe Lightroom training video. In this video I'm going to develop this landscape photograph, and as you know now, the raw file is an undeveloped image. So when you upload your raw file on the computer into Adobe Lightroom, the colors and contrasts are very dull and you need to develop it. So just let's go to work. The image is from the Oslofjord and in Norway. It's taken on an early winter morning, and over here we can see the Earth shadow. This is a shadow of the Earth projected on the sky here, and I also like this crimson area here on the sky. And we need to develop the image because as we see it now, it's not so good. So when I develop my color images, I think of the old Fujichrome Velvia slide films. They had strong colors and good contrast, and I try to make them look like the old slide films from Fujichrome Velvia. So let's go to work. I want to increase the contrast, so I drag the slider to the right, around 24. I also want to lift the shadows here. We have some shadow areas. I want to lighten them up, and here is the shadow slider, and I can drag it here to the right, and you see here it's darker and here it's lighter. There we go. So I want to increase the clarity up to around 25. The clarity sharpens the medium tones in the image, so I can make it very crispy by dragging it to the far right, or very soft to the far left. I like it a little bit crispy, and around 25 can be good. Also want to increase the colors, so the first I do is to drag the vibrance slider up to around 45. See, now we have more colors here, and a little bit saturation. Don't overdo it, don't do it like this or the other way. Just add a little bit more, maybe around 12. So now I have 45 on the vibrance and 12 on the saturation. And these settings vary from image to image because no image is alike, and you have to adjust according to your image and your preferences. Let's go further down. I want to sharpen the image. Go under the detail section here, and I sharpen it by dragging the amount slider up to 58. You see 58 there, and the radius 1.1. And I also want to use the masking tool, and I press the option button and I drag the slider. You see the dark areas here will not be sharpened because blank surfaces doesn't need no sharpening. So the sky and the water surface is now not sharpened because it doesn't need sharpening. But the rock here needs sharpening, and now we have a better quality on our image. So let's continue downwards. The lens correction section, I want to enable the profile correction. I used the Carl Zeiss 18mm lens here. Here you can see the setting, 80mm lens, and I used ISO 200, aperture f16, and 1.6 second exposure. and I work from a low camera position, and I had of course my camera on a tripod. I have my cable release, also used the 2-stop Gale-Ravel graduated neutral density filter to balance the light on the sky with the light on the foreground. So let's go back to here. So I use the 80mm lens. I want to enable the profile correction because each lens has their deviations, so we can correct them here. See what happens now when I check this box. You see? Now the horizon is more straight. See, here is a little bit curved because the optical deviations. Now it's more straight. One thing I lost when I checked the box was the vignette. The size lens has a little bit vignette here at the edges of the frame. That is a darker area at the edges of the frame. So I want to take that back. Take it in. See here. Now I keep the viewer more inside the frame here. Because if the image is lighter at the edges of the frame, the eye of the viewer will disappear out. And I also want to check the remove chromatic aberration box and tick it there. And chromatic aberration can be color lines that appears between, for example, the horizon here and the sky. Can be color lines, yellow, red, green, blue, and by checking this box they disappear. Good. Let's fine-tune something now. I want the rock here to have a warmer tone. So I go to the built-in graduated neutral density filter. It's here up on the top. I click the box and I want to work on the foreground. Then I click and drag upwards. And now you see 3 lines. Everything below the lower line here will have full effect of the changes I do here. And then you have a graduation between the changes, and everything on top here will not be affected by the things I do here now. So just want to lift it up, and there I can turn it by taking the middle line here and drag it up and down. If I want to remove everything, I can sorry, if I want to move the adjustments up or down, I can just take the ring here and drag it up and down. Do it like this. So I want warmer tones on the foreground. Then I go to the color temperature and I drag it a little bit to the right. You see here, this is too much, this is too cold. So a little bit to the right, so I get more the colors of the rock. I want the colors of the rock to pop in a little bit more. Now, yes, that's better. I also lifted the exposure here a little bit. This is too much, of course, and this is too little, but I want just a little bit up on the exposure, 0.14. And we can go to 0 on the highlights. And we have some saturation here. This is too much, this is too little. Just add a little bit on the foreground, +5. So then we close it. So now I have a little bit warmer tones here on the foreground, and that is also a contrast to the colder tones here on the sky. And I like this balance I see now. I also want to work in this area. It's a little bit dark here, so I just want this area to be a little bit lighter. So I go to the brush tool and I adjust the exposure a little bit up, 0.19. We can take down the saturation and the highlights. So now as you see the size of the brush here, I'm gonna paint over here, and I can adjust the size by scrolling here on the mouse, or I can drag the slider here. So you see two rings. Everything inside the inner ring will have full effect of the changes I do here. Then you have a graduation between the inner ring and the outer ring, and on the outside of the outer ring you will have no effect of the changes you do here. So I'm gonna start painting over here, adjust the size a little bit, drag it over here. Not so bad, not so bad. A little bit fine tuning now. Lift. Don't make it too much. Don't make it like this, or it has to be balanced. I think we are here. 0.38. Just a small adjustment makes the image better. So I think we are done. We can also fine tune the color temperature a little bit here. It's a little bit colder. So a little bit to the right with the color temperature. Yeah. There we go. Close it. I think we are done. So let's see the image in full frame. Now, yes, nice. Now it's ready to be used for a print or for something else. So thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share and like the video, and I'll see you in another video.